All right. Here we are. Let's see. Let me get that linky. The linky. So here we have top 16. Lev versus Wooooo. Lev is on Leia. That'll be our second Leia game of the day. Wooooo is on Iden. Wooooo and I always end up on the same stuff. Like last month we played we actually played a mirror, but we were both on Luke. And this time we're both on Iden. Let's see. So yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and just go back here. Let's see. 5. Yeah, there we go. And then let's see. I'm gonna go and give them the go ahead. So this the Leia deck we saw earlier today lose to Boba. Now it's playing against Iden. Now Iden is a much slower deck, but weirdly enough, I feel like it's still better into Leia than Boba, or not than Boba, but it's better. It's good into Leia, right? It's about as good into Leia as Boba is into Leia. Maybe a bit worse. Let's see. Let me get the camera set up right. Is that good? That looks good. So yeah, they were kind enough to let me see their hands. So yeah. But yeah, I think Wooooo is favored here. Iden can heal a lot. She might go slower than the Leia deck, but if you're answering their threats, which you can, and you have the ability to heal, then you look pretty good. But never underestimate this Leia deck's ability to go fast out of nowhere here. And especially like with the Star Viper in hand, that's good. We'll see if Lev makes the greedy play of going for red 3 here. No ramp card for Wooooo, but you don't necessarily want to be playing ramp cards in this game state. You want to be playing things that deal with things. And it's Lev's action. So you got to be playing around Power of the Dark Side here, even though you don't know that it exists. You do have to be playing around Star Viper. I think the best, like, I don't know about that. Wooooo has, I think if you're Wooooo, you ambush the Star Viper here. I think that there's a legitimate question about who you ambush into. I think you do the red 3, but there is an argument for going for the Alliance X-Wing. Right, because if you, the Alliance X-Wing, you take 2, because you're going to get the heal 1 with Iden, and then you take 3 on the crackback next round. Or, no, just 2 on the crackback next round. And then versus if you go for the red 3, you take 2 and 2, that's 4. It's about the same, actually. But the red 3 has more potential value in the long run. So I think you go Star Viper, ECL Star Viper into red 3. There's the real greedy move of play Star Viper without ECL. Okay, that is risky. Like taking the initiative is not a horrible idea here, but like this Rebel Assault is gonna make Wooooo real mad if he decides to do that. Wait, did Lev? Yeah, Lev must have claimed. Okay. There's like a good theory behind that, because you claim to prevent your opponent from claiming, because you know you have this Rebel Assault here. But yeah, that Rebel Assault is gonna be big. Or even, you don't even necessarily have to Rebel Assault, you could just Leia, but in this hand you Rebel Assault because you don't have anything better to do there, and then yeah, you trade for, yep. Yeah. But then that trade happens there. So Woo's not in a horrible spot. We're going into round 3, and you've only taken a little bit of damage, 4, which can go down to 3 because of Iden. So I think you like the spot that you're in. Let's see. There's the safe play, which is takedown here, and then there's the greedy play, which is super laser. I think there's actually a good argument to go for super laser here, because if you have the lieutenant in hand, or even the make an opening also, it does the same thing. But it makes this into a trade with the Fighters for Freedom next turn. It is risky, because you could like get hit by like a fleet lieutenant or something. Although in this case, it looks like Lev does not have the fleet lieutenant to punish here. So yeah. And what? Yeah, I didn't see what card we was resourcing there. Being able to play like takedown and the lieutenant this turn is gonna be good, and to play Iden. So I think Woo's in actually a really, really good spot right now. He hasn't taken that much damage. He's about to be able to pull off a ramp against the aggro decks, which doesn't always happen. He is gonna have to find an out to this Leia, and that could prove tricky, but he has enough with all the stuff that he's got right now. So now I think you lieutenant into the Fighters for Freedom to get the punish. Or, oh, even, yeah, actually, like just doing that. Oh, that takes out Leia. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. That works. I think that's, yeah, I think that's a good use of the ECL there. And then Iden can ram into the Fighters for Freedom. Or you don't even necessarily have to. Yeah, so I think you deploy Iden, then Iden can attack over one of them, takedown takes out the other one. Oh, you need to deploy Iden first. No, I guess if you're playing around like having a 2-drop red card, which obviously doesn't. If he did, then it makes sense to take down there. Or at least makes a little bit of sense. I still think even if you are playing around that, you're risking taking 1 damage, but if you deploy, you're also losing 1 damage from the deploy. Although actually, wait, with 2, no, you're still only healing 1 by takedowning preemptively, whereas you'd also be healing 1 if you deployed. So 4 damage from the 4 cause, and then his other play is going to be either another 4 cause or a red 3, and yeah, it's, you know, Wooooo's hand is all removal right now, so that does give Lev some time, but he's not in a good spot. Three for red 3, and then I think I'm not sure what the best removal to play here is. I think it's takedown. Yep. Because that Power of the Dark Side can do lots of stuff. Then yeah, wow. Yeah, Wooooo's not drawing great here. He needs to start getting into things that can actually end the game. He's playing control well, and I still think he's ahead, but he needs to be able to close it out. 4 for K2, then you power here. Yep. You get the heal, but you take 3 back. For a cause. Lev's now out of cards. But he is going to be able to stack and see what his next 2 cards are. And that's 4. Let's see, how many duds is Lev running? He is running 3 Benthic, 3 Partisan Insurgent. I think those are his only non-hero cards in the main deck. Yeah, looks like it. And I think we saw a Partisan Insurgent get resource round 1, so good luck and good deck building. And we're going into another round. Keeping the A-Wing and the Fleet Lieutenant is greedy. I mean, yeah, double make an opening just answers this really well. Let's see. So Inferno 4, keep 1, bury 1. I think you just do it. Like yeah. Like you're now this is now a very simplified game state, which means the control deck has, I think, basically won. Ooh, double Vader. Because your cards are better than theirs. And he's Wooooo now is in the point where he's in the lead in terms of life. So definitely ahead. And Lev calls it. And we're going to game 2. The control beats the aggro. That's V, not a 1. Okay. We'll see if the aggro can come back game 2. It does have plays. Like, we saw opportunities to get ahead. In this matchup really comes down to like what removal you put your opponent on, and it's oftentimes really hard to guess. Especially at this point, I don't really have a developed theory of trying to figure out from the turn 1 play what removal they have. I don't know if it's even possible to get to such a point. So it really just is a guessing game. But ECL makes it really, really hard to outplay your opponent there. because you got to worry about Power of the Dark Side. You got to worry about ECL Star Viper. You got to worry about like ECL Death Trooper. You got to worry about ECL Super Laser. I guess you have to worry about Make an Opening, but I don't know how many cards Lev's running that are 2-drops that are weak to Make an Opening. I don't think. Yeah, I guess like Benthic is, Spec Force Soldier is. Those are the only ones that are immediately weak to Make an Opening. But Make an Opening also does help, like Inferno 4 and Certain A-Wing, for example. And speak of the devil, 2 Make an Openings in this hand. This is a very like early game hand. I might have kept that in this matchup. I might have kept that. But this hand definitely looks a lot better, I think. Drops to Make an Opening, and I think that's correct. Yeah. And Lev has the initiative, so you actually get to be reactive here. See what your opponent plays. That's interesting. That's a good open for Lev, because the Shore Trooper can't trade into it. Yeah. Ewing Reinforcement coming in. I believe that's coming in out of the side for Lev. Yep. For this control matchup. We'll see if he keeps it. Earlier today, we saw Destiny Raikou get punished for resourcing a Ewing Reinforcement early on in a game that went long. Let's see. So there's Cell Block Guard, which can answer this Battlefield Marine, but it gets answered in turn by the Fighters for Freedom. System Patrol Craft is good in the abstract, but into this hand, it's weird. But this hand is really weird for Lev. Double for a cause, Ewing Reinforcement, K2SO, and Black 1. Like, that's odd. He's thinking about the reinforcement. I don't think you do. I think, yeah, that seems about right. Let's see, Make an Opening. Hits the fighters. That's good. Shore Trooper now trades into that. Go hit there. And do 1. Good use of Leia. Good use of Shore Trooper there. They make an opening there, actually making an opening for the Shore Trooper to go kill it. K2SO coming down, no immediate answer. I think Lev's contemplating the target down here, but I think he wisely decides against it. Interesting resource decision for Wooooo. Like, keeping the resupply lets you get to Iden earlier. I think, yeah, I think you keep the resupply and then play Inferno 4 resupply. Because deploying Iden here right now is basically your best out to the K2. And here's where we, like, the reading thing that we're talking about comes up. Red 3 loses to a lot of things right now, but it also slightly gets you a benefit, but not by that much. So that's why I think like Red 3 is oftentimes a trap, because it gets removed a lot of the time and you end up like wasting an action on it basically. Like if we had basically any removal card here, then that red 3 was not a good move, and so we wisely decided against it. Now, like, playing it on the back end is fine, but trying to play it up front to get that 1 extra damage is usually not worth the risk. And Lev played it more riskily in game 1, but being wise about it this time. And oh, Leia deploys this round. I forgot about that. That is big. So I imagine I think we run over the K2 here. There's an argument to be made for attacking the Leia or attacking the Marine, but I think it's K2. Because yeah, no, I think it's well, not because now K2 can run into Iden and kill her. Or Leia can't. Leia, I guess, always could. And now this Vader here is big. Vader could pull Death Trooper, although that's made a bit less likely by the drawing of the Death Trooper there. Death Trooper is, I talked about this last night with Tower number 9 after my game, but I think Death Trooper is mainly useful as a Vader target. Like, you very rarely are playing it on 3. It's just it always has the most impact when you pull it off Vader. And it would be very impactful here. It would mean adding both these units instead of just one of them. Cell Block Guard would also be a good pull. I don't know what else he's running. And it's a ground unit, and it is Shore Trooper. That's pretty much the worst one it could have been. I guess it's not horrible. Now Lev's on 6, and he has this black 1. I think he's considering running it out, but then he loses his U-wing reinforcement, and I don't think you want to lose that. So this K2 is 5 attack right now because of the red 3, or I guess technically it has red 1, so it can attack for 5. So it could run over Vader. It could run over Shore Trooper. You could U-wing it and then run over Shore Trooper and survive. Or sorry, not U-wing. Wing leader it. That is a real interesting play, going for the wing leader now. I think that's wrong. Because of that, you allow the Inferno 4 to trade into it. I think you attack with your K2 first. Because you have all the information right now that you need to make your K2 decision. And then you can play wing leader on the back end. So just a small sequencing error there. Likely not going to have that much of an impact, but you never want to be making plays like that. This is a good handful of answers for Wooooo. And he has the initiative. But make an opening or Death Trooper answers this K2 real well. Goes for the Death Trooper. I think you do damage here. What are they saying in chat? He's just thinking. I think you do damage. Especially, I mean, we can see his hand, so we know that discarding is not gonna get you anywhere really. But even just looking at the board state, yeah, you're close to being able to cheese this one out with your U-wing. And here you have to attack with your red 3. Just do it. And you can play the U-wing later. I guess there's like a chance that you pull Fleet Lieutenant here. But with 5 resources, there's any number of things that we could have here to kill your red 3. And now obviously he doesn't have any of them in reality, but he could, right? And here comes A-Wing, and Fleet Lieutenant. All right, he took a risk and it paid off. 6, 7, 7 should be 8. 4, no, it should be 7. I'm literally just lying. And I think this might actually be, yeah, I think this is going to be basically impossible for Wooooo to clean up unless he draws. He is on main deck Super Laser Blast, so he could draw that. But other, like if he, no, Lev just claims here and then he Leia's and hits for game. There's nothing that Wooooo can do. He had to claim and hope he got Super Laser Blast, but he didn't get it. So we are going to see game 3 here. Right? Or let's see. Yeah, because I go. That's still 5 attack. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, he can answer it there. So okay, so I guess Wooo's technically not dead yet. But he's gonna be at 1 HP remaining. Okay, so I lied. Maybe we can't come back. I didn't see that line. But Wooooo basically just committed his whole hand into that. Ooh, 2 removal cards though. Let's see. Ooh. The Walker is gonna be big here. Going up to 8. And then hit you for 6. Go to 24. Fader hits for 5. Dodge the target in town. Walker, I think that's probably gonna be game. Because you can barrage the Walker, but then you lose the initiative. And you can only kill one of those guys and heal 1. Let's see, 7. Yeah, no, I don't think you can do it. So you do that. Just to be safe, you play the X-Wing. Or, well, that actually gives Wooooo a chance to top deck the Super Laser Blast. But he's not even going to take that chance. We are going to game 3, folks. Leia winning your first game of this Top Cut after starting out 0-3. And this is the first game 3 of the Top Cut, actually. If you can see here, the other 3 matches that have been played so far, we're done in 2. And we're sighting. So, folks, let's talk about this tournament. Take the initiative, season 0.5 top cut. Everything is legal now. It's like New Jersey. Except instead of crimes, it's set 1. So we've seen 3 matches so far. We saw Boba beat Leia, we saw Boba beat Krennic, and we saw Iden beat Krennic. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because we are starting another game. And Wooooo, with a very difficult choice here, ends up resourcing the Make It opening, which he used to great effect in that in these games so far. Opens the VPD, sees the wing leader, and he has the Star Viper to ECL into the A-Wing. So you go A-Wing, initiative, first action ECL Star Viper. Maybe instead you play a Power of the Dark Side if you draw it, but you don't. You can resource the second super laser here. Yep. And then it is ECL all day. Cannot let that wing leader get stuck on the thing. And that actually sets back Lev by a lot. His best play right now is probably for a cause. Which is not what you want to be playing on round 2. Luckily, he hits all 4 though. It's you definitely dump that. I think you dump both those units too. But I think you keep the 4 cause. Interesting, he keeps both. Okay. Yep. Target town there. Can't let that restore get going. Lev takes initiative. Throws away a black one to the resource god. Takedown is going to be big here. It is going to be a straight up answer to that K2. And I think Woowoo's out to a pretty strong lead here. He's not letting anything stick. He's not taking a ton of base damage. Goes for the slightly greedier route, which could punish him, could not. We'll see. I honestly don't think he's going to punish him that much. He's going to be able to get to Iden earlier, which is key. Sorry, I'm tired. Oh. And Fleet Lieutenant here is going to provide more of a punish to that. And 6. Yeah. Boom. And Super Laser can take out the K2. Iden with Barrage is going to be able to wipe this field here. I think even without Barrage. Like, let's see. You can go like Power of the Dark Side plus Death Trooper. Actually gets around a lot of things. So I think do you go Barrage or do you go Power of the Dark Side? Death Trooper. So Power of the Dark Side would kill the Lieutenant. Then you go. Then you're left with like a damaged Death Trooper and Iden with no shield versus if you barrage, you're left with Iden with no shield. So yeah, I think it's Death Trooper Dark Side here. Or even like this play, which is like don't even play the Death Trooper. Or okay, I guess he's just gonna play the Death Trooper for fun. The other route was that like you go Death Trooper, put 2 on Leia, swing in with Leia, kill her, and then Dark Side the Lieutenant. But this route gets you to the same place. No significant difference between those 2 lines. And you keep the barrage. I think that's well played. And then next round, you're going to be able to get out a reinforcement walker, which is going to be a threat, and it's going to start healing you more. So I think Wooo's going to start to take over here, although double 4 cause is not something you ever want to see. But I think it's unlikely to matter that much. And no misses. I think, how many 4 causes has Lev played this match? And I don't think he's missed once. Like, that's crazy. That's good. I think he was only running like 6 misses, and it's possibly sided out some of them. So that could be part of it. He could also just be lucky. Ooh, keeps the no, you gotta dump the heroic. You don't have any. Oh no, you do have the 1 unit, but yeah, you don't want to risk it getting removed. There's so many things that could. That's one of them. And I think Woo's gonna walk away with this one. Vader there is a risky call, but I think it's correct actually. Yeah. This walker is going to come in with restore 3. It's going to be basically unkillable. And Woo's on a 2-turn clock to win the game anyway. Let's see. Does Lev have a line to win here? I'm not convinced that he does. He could do 4 off this for a cause. Sorry. Oh. Interesting decision point here. Okay. It's a very defensive move here. So now he no longer, or no, I think he still does have a 2-turn clock. Never mind. It's like, it's slightly risky, but it's not that much. Because of this thing. No matter what he was going to do, as long as the Iden stayed alive, he has a 2-turn clock. So yeah, and this is it. The end of time. Ewing reinforcement. Will it be enough? Lev's tournament life hangs in the balance. Does he have Sentinels? I don't think he has anything with Sentinel. Or no, he has Echo Based Defender that has Sentinel. But that gets run over by this Death Trooper and doesn't end up doing anything. And something in chat. And Lev is calling it, folks. That's it. Our first game 3 of the league, and it goes to Wooooo with 5 O's of Late Night Gaming. And another Iden has hit the top 8. This top 16 was 50% Idens and Bobas. Top 8 is going to be at least that much of each. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I have got to go soon, so I don't think we're gonna do a post match interview, but yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you guys later. Watch out for more content from Take the Initiative.